Hello. Okay. So yeah, I'll do a presentation maybe a bit differently. I'm going to present this as the investment. So again, I was an advisor with Canaccord for 15 years, and I'll go into why I think this is something that's one of the best investments out there, and reason why I joined the company a couple of years ago. So essentially, I'll start on a different slide here. We've had 3 companies. This is our third. Our first company is going into development. Actually broke ground, going into production as we speak. So it'll be about 400,000 ounces a year there. That's Keegan, which is now Asanko. Founded in 2005, we raised almost $400 million for that company. They'll do about 400,000 ounces a year. So again, that's a big success for us. In doing that, I think, which is fair, is we realize that we're very good at exploring and finding projects, and not so great at putting them into motion and developing ourselves. So we've put an amazing management team there and realized that we're great explorers, and that's what we're going to stick to. So Caden, our second company, we put about $53 million into that. We sold that to Agnico, which was completed last year, for $205 million. That's a company in Mexico, so that was a huge success for us as well. This is our third company. So first and foremost, again, we're going to try to do this again. We're going to build this out. We're going to sell it. And I think for investors, having an exit plan stated right away is something that's exciting, because obviously there's accretion there that'll be realized at some point, and it's a different investment process, I guess you could say. So basically, as Caden was going through the process of being taken over, we looked around the entire globe, obviously. We looked for about 18 months. We looked at about 200 companies. Basically found that we got down to about 25 of them that we really, really were interested in. We took them apart. We visited most of the sites, and most of these companies turned out to be, 1 or 2 things happened where it was just a no-go for us, and we're very picky on what we do. So we wanted to find high-grade, district-size opportunities in a place in the world that's geopolitically safe, which is what we've got now. So last November 2013, a company came to us. They had very limited capital left. They were trading at 5 cents. They have hundreds of million shares outstanding. Came to us as a group known as people who can raise money and put projects into motion, as opposed to their other offers were companies that were going to put them away for a while, hope the market comes back, and then obviously that asset's worth a lot more. Came to us and said, you're known as a group that can raise money. You're known as a group that will actually put things into motion. We've been working on this project for 20 years. We put $100 million into it. We want to see this come to fruition. We want to see this project go through. So had a deal in November, but it wasn't as suitable for us. Went away, came back to us in February. They said, let's do the deal, and it was very favorable. So started on this deal. It was $6 million into the ground for 51%, and controlling, we were the operators. As we reinterpreted the project more and more, we found that this is an amazing opportunity, and we've just completed on purchasing the rest. So all in, we're into it for about $18 million. It's a very, very amazing project, which you'll see. And again, it's had 20 years up here and $100 million into it. So it's at a point where we can basically just walk in and bring our expertise and take it to that level that we want to take it to. So one of the things as a broker that I really liked about this, and I think as an investor that's interesting, is we're very particular about our share structure. We're very focused on this. We have a weekly meeting where we talk about how much do we have out, who owns what. We're always talking about dilution. We're always talking about how can we be the most accretive to shareholders. So we have 56 million out right now. We've got 5.5 million in the bank. Caden, when it got sold, it was 4 years later, it only had 54 million out. So again, as an investor, very accretive. You don't have hundreds of millions out. There's a lot of value that we provide for shareholders, and we always have. So something we take great pride in, and something we take a lot of work in, and something that we do very, very well, and we're very particular about. So if you look at the structure, we own plus 50% of it with insiders. You can see our CEO's been buying he's bought about $500,000 at $1.30 and higher. Again, he did well in Caden, but you just never see investors in their own companies usually at those levels, which is very impressive. So there's a huge show of faith there from our management that continue to buy. I've been buying, Sean's been buying, the whole board's been buying. So again, something very, very compelling and something to watch for in stocks. We have very limited options out there. Again, everything is about providing benefits to shareholders in a creative nature. The other thing that they're also very concerned about as well is keeping that share structure constant for that. And another point that I think is very interesting as well is, with successes, a lot of groups change their formula. They do 3 or 4 deals. They have hundreds of millions of shares out. They have 10 million shares each, et cetera, et cetera. This is a group that focuses on what they're good at, just keeping it the way it is. We don't change it. We're not working on 4 different companies. We're all fully committed on this, and I think that's something that in these days you really want to look for. So again, back to this slide, we've raised almost $500 million over the last 10 years. We can raise money. We got offered a bought deal last week. We'd like to do it a little higher. Again, we want to be more accretive to shareholders. We're always concerned about dilution. We have enough money right now, but there's stuff we're working on, which I'll get into. So we can raise the money again. We had offers. It's something that we're very good at. So projects like this need money, and we can do that. Another great slide. I think this proves where we've been in the last couple of projects. Again, Caden took 3 years sort of from acquisition to sale. Awesome for investors. You're not waiting 10 years. It's a nice process. Asanko in 4 years, we had it up to $750. It ran as high as $10. We put a new management team in, and again, that was also a big success for us. So one of the things we like to show here is that when we buy projects, we move them forward, and we try to get that value for shareholders. Management stayed the same, essentially. Ivan and Sean have reversed roles in this. Sean and I, Mike Henderson, Dave Smithson, a lot of the team, because Caden was going through the process of being taken over, we moved over and started Auryn, like I said, so 18 months we looked for the project and such. So everyone is now, since Caden's gone, they all come to this company. We're all working together again on this. So a new addition that I'll get into is Antonio Rebus. If you follow geologists, he's one of the best in the world. We're very proud to have him on board. Something that, again, I'll get into, but, immense value in the team. So again, the Arctic. The Arctic is somewhere, again, it's way up there. We're in the middle of nowhere, but as a result of that, you need high grade, you need district size, and we have it. So you got 300 kilometers of strike. You've got a resource there already of 1.2 million, 8+ grams. You've got the grade up here. This is an area now when the rest of the world, and we've been, we were in Kazakhstan, we were in Turkey, we were in Chile, we were in Mexico, we were in Nevada. We looked everywhere. And a lot of the times, geopolitically, it was tough. We were in Bikino for a while, and 2 weeks after we were there, the guerrillas took over the TV station. So we were very focused on something being geopolitically safe. This is an amazing area to work. And because of that, and you have an anchor tenant, which is Agnico up here, you have an opportunity now in an area that is getting a lot of attention. TMAC, as you all know, just went IPO. They're going to do $100 million. They increased it to $135. They've raised now, $300 million up there. There's an IRR of 44%, which is this property up here. That's the old Newmont property. So again, you can make money up here, and you can do very well at it. Agnico is your anchor tenant up here. Meadowbank obviously is their key project. It's their second most profitable mine. You've got cash costs of $656. Again, these are things in the Arctic that you didn't think were possible 10 years ago. So a very compelling area. Elgin, I actually know the people who just bought that. They're putting that back into production. Sabina's here. They're at 7 million plus ounces now, high-grade gold. Again, you got Amarak, which is getting a huge inflection of capital here because Agnico obviously is very committed up here. This is somewhere that has really helped them stabilize what they've been working on. So it's a very, very compelling area now that's really garnered attention. So it's very fortuitous for us to walk into something that is really picked up in terms of people saying, this is an area you can do business. It's an area you can make money. The rest of the world's becoming tougher and tougher to do business. It's somewhere that people are focusing on. So again, very fortuitous for us. We're very excited. It is way up there, but you get the grade, you get the size. And you can't, one of the things we looked for right away was we want grade. We think grade prevails in any market. It's something that, you want that grade in case we have, troubles ahead, and hopefully we're getting out of this soon, but, it's anyone's guess, and grade will prevail in that. So again, this is sort of a regurgitation. The more interesting part in this is there's a camp. They have all the cats and hose. There's 6 drills on site. Like I said, $100 million being spent up here. This is all set up, for a major to come in. Everything's up there. For us, we can walk in there. It's plug and play, as we like to say. Everything's there. We basically get to come in this inflection point that we think is amazing, and I'll get into that in a different slide. But as you can see, you have a massive camp here. We call this a bull market camp because they built it obviously in a bull market. This would cost 10 to 15 million in today's days to build, which you obviously wouldn't do, but it's there for us. And obviously, if a major's looking at you, mid-cap, whoever it may be, this is something that adds value, no question. So a bit on the property. People always ask, well, what happened to the company? It's so perspective. How could it get to the point? Obviously, 5 cents. Impossible to raise money. One of the things that will be of note is they got very myopic in their drilling process. This is about 1 kilometer here that they've been drilling. There's another slide in the books that I left at the back if you want to see. You can see how tight, obviously, everything was. They were planning, they were putting a resource out. They basically, outside of this target, they have 50. Can I take this off? I'll leave it there. When I turn like this, can you hear me? Or is it harder? Okay, I'll go like this. So yeah, there's 50 holes outside of this main area that were drilled. So essentially, they had money left over at the end of the year. They drilled 50 holes total in that whole time they had the project. What fascinated us and what really compelled us is you look at stuff where if you go up to the north here, you've got 16 grams over 12 meters. Did another hole, left it, didn't come back. Those are amazing opportunities to produce more. If you go down to the south, we explored the entire southwest this year and did till sampling. We've done drone imagery everywhere. The point is, you've got some amazing holes again down here. You got 14 grams over 8 meters. You got 13 grams again over 8 meters. Not followed up on again. So one of the things here is you've got 300 kilometers and you've got amazing targets. And we've taken this data and reinterpreted it to the point where we have some very specific and very interesting targets where, we figure there's 3 to 8 million ounces here because a lot of the deposits up here are sort of 3 to 8 million. They're very analogous to all the properties in this area. If you can find a second and third deposit, you're looking at a company that's now plus 2 million ounces. You also have a property where if let's say, again, a major was looking at you, you're getting to a point where this is something you can drill for 20 years and still find things. So that's something that, we have a lot of the majors, ex-employees on our board and in our management team. It's what they look for when they're looking for projects. It should also be noted here, Agnico's 110 miles to the south of us. Again, it's directly analogous. There are some obvious similarities there that would be recognized if they were to do so. We don't want to be so bold as to say, that's our target because, again, we sold Caden to Agnico. We don't want them to think that we're going to buy properties around them for the rest of our life and just sell it to them. It just so happened they're below us, and it just so happens that there would be a lot of metrics that would really work out, obviously, being close together. So that said, there's many other people that would be interested in this. You've got high grade, you've got a district size, you've got something you can drill forever. So even Newmont, which we're very close to, also has said, we're not ruling out coming back to the Arctic, which is, I think, very, very interesting. So again, technical team, Mike Hendrickson, when we found him and met him, in Ghana, he took Ohafo from around 4 million ounces to 18. Him and Dave Smithson, who was the chief geologist at Caden as well. Again, guys who find gold, very, very compelling people, very smart, very good at what they do. Again, took Ohafo to where it is today, essentially. He basically said, if we find a project that's interesting enough, I'm going to bring in all my old partners that I used to work with, and we're going to take a really good swing at this thing in a bad market, which is something we're proud of. We're going for it in a bad market, and I think it's something to say. So Antonio Ribas is a new addition. If you, again, follow geology and geologists, he's one of the best. He was the chief geologist at Newmont. Formerly, he was, most recently, he's the VP of Geological Sciences at BHP. An amazing man, a very smart person, PhD in geology, very well followed. In our most recent raise, we had 3 or 4 people that you want in your deals that came into our deals. A lot of that was based on him. Provides immense value. As a result, we've put him on the board. He's incredibly excited. He's never been on a board. He's involved in all the decisions. He's like, do I get to know about everything you're working on? And it's like everything we're going to talk to you about. And he's so excited about that because, of course, you work at a major, you don't get involved in those processes. So he's brought us projects. He's brought us his intelligence. It's a very, very a huge score for us and a huge find. Dan McCoy has been with us since Keegan. He found the Keegan deposit. He's also found the Caden deposit. He's with us still. Dan's a great guy, based out of New York. Peter Cleesby's we inherited from North Country. He found the project. Very good guy, very educated up there. Kim Cook, again, is arguably one of the best mag interpreters in the world. She's taken data that was pretty basic and reinterpreted it to a place where it's incredibly detailed. Again, she was with Newmont. She was with Anglo. These are people that are best of breed. Mike Mcmillan is a very cutting-edge EM and IP inversion technique expert out of UBC. He was also the global physicist for Newmont. He brings A, education, B, experience, and C, a very interesting approach to projects like this that are vast and you need to focus. Nigel Radford was the chief geochemist in Newmont. Again, he was there for 40 years. These are all people that we have at our disposal. So Ralph Stea has got immense experience up there in the Arctic. Again, more and more people. We have a technical team essentially as a major and a junior. So One of the things Antonio said, which I think is worth noting, is this is the same team I explored the world with Newmont, and it's so exciting, A, to be back, but B, to have the opportunity to work together on something that we get to control and we get to have the excitement of building. So this is an amazing technical team as a result, and I'll get into in the last slide. We are looking at other opportunities as well. You have some seasonality in the Arctic, which we all know. This group obviously can handle another project, if not a couple more. We'll see, what happens. But we are looking at other projects, and you'll probably see something, hopefully see something in the near future of a matter that will be very complementary to this asset as well. So again, one of the things that you have to do in the Arctic, you have to save costs. So this is just a quick slide illustrating that. We've brought up a new technique in drilling. We brought up a RAB drill. It's a rotary air blast. You put it on a track. It moves around about half a mile. Very simple to use, very cheap. Costs up there have run up to almost $1,000 a meter to drill. We've got it down to $350 this year. Next year, we're going to get it down to $250. That's an immense difference. You got to be very diligent up here. You got to save costs. You got to be very focused. So we've done a lot of work into again, what we're trying to do is find the second and the third deposit, if not more. We've done a lot of work to get us to that point, and we've also saved the cost to do so. So technology has really changed the area, no question. And it's something that, again, makes this area even more compelling because now you can do it for a very reasonable price. Our geo loves this slide. I do too. What we're trying to say here is obviously emerging district is usually and traditionally where you get the biggest upside in stock. We like to use Miramar as an example. We're not trying to be so bold to say we're going to sell it for $1.5 billion, but BHP put $100 million into Miramar. Miramar blew the doors off, sold it to Newmont for $1.5 billion. We all know what happened after that, but the reality is we're in the same inflection point where we're stepping into a project that has that groundwork done. It has that first discovery. It has that work done. We get to come in and take it and find more and take it to the place that it needs to be. So we're very excited about where we are. And what we're the best at is in the process of exploration stages is this process of finding it, moving the project along. So a very interesting opportunity for shareholders right now and something that we're very proud of in terms of what we've done in the past. So again, we're just getting started. This year we acquired this greenstone belt. We've reinterpreted the data. Originally, we bought, like I said, $6 million into the ground. We bought 51% of North Country. The more we reinterpreted it, the more we wanted to have the whole thing. So we just completed the buyout of the rest. Cost us about $18 million. Most of that was with stock. Again, when you have a good structure in your stock, you can use your stock as currency. A lot of people can't do that right now. So a very interesting project for us, very compelling. 2016 is going to bring more drilling in that project. We're going to look for that second and third deposit. We're going to do the rest of the project with till sampling because what we found in the southwest that we just did is incredibly compelling results and a couple new targets has never been looked at before. And if you can imagine in 300 kilometers, that can happen numerous times, which is something you want. It's not a one project company, which is amazing. The other thing, in 2016, you're probably going to see another acquisition. Again, we're in an environment where you just don't see this. Sean's been doing this for 25 years. He's never seen projects like this come across his desk. So if you can execute in this market, you can get into a point where we feel we can build a super junior, as we call it. We have the technical team to do it. We have the management team, the experience. You might as well bring the project in as well, where you can have let's say you have an exploration portfolio that a major would have. It provides you a lot more options, obviously, with what you're going to do further than that. So you'll see results next year. I'm hoping, again, that we progress Committee Bay along. And like I said, the end goal for us here is to sell this project, for investors to realize their capital and be accretive to them. I'm 40, Sean's 42, Ivan's 38, Michael's 41. We're all relatively young. We got a lot of energy. We're always on the road. We're very excited about what we're doing, but the point is, if we can do this a third time, then what about the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth? And one of the things and why I worked with these guys in the very beginning of my career again was they stick to their focus. They're very diligent about what they do, and it saves me a lot of time trying to find new groups all the time that are good at what they do. When you find one and they don't change things, it's a gift in terms of time. Hopefully. In terms of share value and all that sort of thing, which we've done so far. So our goal is to build a really amazing company that just gets stronger along the way, and hopefully you guys all join us for the ride. So thank you.